Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the BNI Partners and Excellence Show. I'm Andy, and I'm so excited today to have one of our newest members, Alex Cervantes, with us with the Massage Studio Eastlake, and we are going to have a great conversation today. Welcome, Alex. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Andy. I'm so excited to be here.
So, you kind of let it out of the bag right before we started. I'm like, have you done a podcast before? And you're like, oh, yeah, I'm a seasoned veteran. So, yeah, this is your 12th one of the week, apparently? No?
No, I try.
First of the day, I think is what you said. Yeah.
I was joking, but yeah, I've been invited to other podcasts before. But it's good.
I was kind of joking. First of the day, I have 4 more to conduct before noon today. I'm a very important person. So thank you for coming on to the show. I know that, like, for some people, like, oh, I don't know, and this is kind of a different experience for most people. But like right out the gate, I'll say when it comes to like marketing and promoting your business, you've done a really good job. I've seen on social media, and even just joining BNI recently, of even taking photo and video at being at the meeting and networking. Here's who I'm at, and here's who I'm with. Like, when did that all start for you?
To start promoting myself?
Yeah, like how, because,
Or how did I get into the massage business?
Well, we're going to talk about both.
Okay.
But I want to talk about the promotion part first, because I think for some people, they have a hard time crossing the threshold of thinking I can talk about myself and it not come across as self-centered. But especially with what you're doing and helping bring medical massage to people and just regular therapeutic massage, it's important that people are getting that kind of help. So how did you kind of overcome that? Like, oh, I don't want to be self-centered, but I also want to tell people, hey, I can help the people they know and love with the problems that they might be having.
Of course. Well, ever since I was little, I've always liked massage, right? And I actually went to school for psychology. So when I was during my bachelor's, I was like, this is not really what I wanted to focus on. And then on my thesis, we started talking about stress on adults and how like massage therapy could help lower the stress levels and anxiety. So I got more into that. And then I figured, oh my God, I really like massages. Like I didn't even know that was a career in the US, because in Mexico, definitely it wasn't. Like you would say massage and people would definitely go the other way. Like, oh, what kind of massage, And then
it doesn't mean just the way we think
exactly,
it is. Okay,
yeah, not therapeutic,
it.
Unfortunately. But now, in Mexico they advance, and now it's more okay. I need, instead of going to the doctor to get meds, I'm gonna get a massage to feel better, right? So with the psychology and the massage, I started having clients sometimes that would have anxiety or like you would notice and read their their behavior, how do you say it? Like physically how they would look or move, and you would notice, okay, this person's like this, they have anxiety, or they have
their demeanor, like
yes.
the way they're like they fidget or things like that.
Exactly, like their movements basically, or they wouldn't look at you at the eye. Okay, they're shy. Like start analyzing their behavior to see, okay, and then always I feel like it's better to ask questions to people instead of talking about yourself, because that makes you feel more connected with them and they trust you.
I'm grinning because I'm thinking, okay, now everyone in the chapter is going to have to watch out how they look when they go, how they act around Alex. She's analyzing. She's analyzing you, whether you're looking at her in the eye or not, whether you're twitching and fidgeting. It's okay. She has a massage solution for all of the things mentioned.
Definitely. Yeah, for sure. So, just also, when you see people walking, you see how their hips are tilted to the front, and you see how their feet are going.
Okay, wait, hold on. Not everybody. No, wait. Like,
well, I love
you
that.
See that. Like a chiropractor might see that. A podiatrist. Yes. Like I don't see that.
Or like their posture. Yeah, you're right.
Look how I'm sitting right now. Even though I'm all self-conscious.
No, your back's pretty straight. I was like, oh wow, his shoulders are aligned. That's awesome.
That's just for show. So okay, so so you have a background in psychology, but in Mexico, what you do now, I mean, it used to be a different way, or maybe thought of a little bit differently than it is now. But when it comes to you sharing content, like there's an emphasis behind that. There's purpose behind that, not just self-promotion. So why is it so important to you that you're so consistent at it as well? Even the other day I saw you. So you put a funny one, like, oh, when the massage therapist gets a massage, and it's like you doing it by yourself.
Because I'm the massage therapist. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, what is your inspiration to do all that?
Well, I do love what I do. Like, it's my passion, and I love teaching trainings. And I feel like with the massage, people can really Like it would change the world if everybody would get a massage because it's self-care, and I strongly believe that it can save people from surgeries. I mean, not like all of them, right? But we've had clients that had to go for surgery for frozen shoulder, but they avoided because of their wellness treatment with us.
I literally had frozen shoulder last fall.
What? Did you get a surgery?
No, I had to go to 13 weeks of physical therapy straight. I was like locked. Anyways, it's not about me.
No,
so
but
yes, that's a great example.
Exactly. Manual therapy helps you not avoid surgeries because sometimes people that had surgery, I'm not saying that it's bad to get surgery. It depends on the level of the injury, but it's very important to find other holistic ways to help your body,
So you share a lot on Instagram. What is some of the feedback you get from that? How does it work for you? I know everyone's based on your kind of business, your frequency, how good you do your content. That can change a lot for people and what the results are. What has been some of the things you've experienced from sharing so regularly?
Well, I've noticed at the beginning I would share like people. I mean, I would share videos of learning like, oh, this is a knot and this is a muscle, like stuff for people to learn about massage and stuff. And then nothing. And then I started doing TikToks about me falling into a massage table or like funny videos, which I that's my personality, to be honest with you. Like I'm not like a very serious person. I'm always joking. So I started to showing more my personality, and that's when I was like, oh my God, I want a massage. Oh my God, when can I come in? And boom, boom, boom. And I was like, wow, okay.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Why am I faking to be like super smart? I can just be myself, which I am smart.
Well, but they're together, but you're saying that the response to that type of content is different. Because it's not that you're funny or super smart, it's like you're both, right?
Yes.
So, but you're saying that the response to the type of content was that when you're more, let's say, I'm going to say the word naturally being goofy and silly is more approachable to people.
Yes.
Interesting.
Totally.
So that's interesting to me because one of the things that I think I've seen, and this has definitely changed over the course of time, but nowadays especially, it's almost like people who take themselves too seriously are less trustworthy.
Yes.
And I don't know that they are less trustworthy. I just think that the public audience looking through their phone, trying to see if you have the solution to their problem, has less trust for someone who is trying to sound like they're an authority rather than someone just being themselves.
Yes, completely.
So it's the same for, it doesn't matter if it's massage then, right? Actually, maybe more so probably that it's like personal because it's like touch and people sometimes aren't used to being touched by somebody else or a stranger.
Definitely.
And that's very personal and private in a lot of cases.
Yeah. And then like feeling comfortable with us, like, because they're like, oh, I know Alex. Some of these people don't know me in person. They've seen me on videos. And they'll be like, hey, Alex. And I'll be like, I always say hi because I'm like, I don't know if I met you or not, but I don't want to be that person that, oh, who are you? Why are you talking to me? So I'm always like, oh, hi. Or even if I don't know somebody, it happened to me at a concert. I saw this lady and I was like, oh, she's a realtor from this place. So I went up to her and I'm like, hey, how you been? And she was like, great. And you? Amazing. Oh, and she's like, I'm sorry. Where do I know you from? And I'm like, oh, are you this person? And she's like, no. And I'm like, oh my God, you totally look like her. She's like, but you're so nice. And I'm like, thank you.
So it's the stranger that you thought looked like someone else? Oh,
and then she started going to our studio in TJ because I'm like, oh, I have a massage business in Mexico because I ran into her at a concert in TJ and now she's a client.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny because sometimes, you don't always run into someone who is not the person you think and then they're nice and go about it. So that's a fun experience. So let's talk about the massage studio because even right now, you just mentioned you have several locations. So you have the Eastlake location, you have Tijuana, and then do you still have one in Forest Ranch as well?
We have one in Carmel Mountain.
Or Carmel Mountain,
yes,
thank you. Okay.
That one has been a year that we opened.
So which was the first one you opened?
So the first one I opened was in Eastlake.
Okay.
The location that we have. And then Tijuana. But with Tijuana, we started doing corporate chair massages to call centers, offices, and, what's it called? Manufacturing at the administration department.
So Eastlake was the first one. What year did you open that one?
And that one was in 2019.
Oh, okay. So you're 6 years in now. Congratulations.
In that location. Thank you. But I've been doing it since 2009. I've been doing it.
Oh, wow.
I was working at a spa. And then from that spa, I started going to my client's house. And then, little by little, they opened the Sola salons in Target, and I was like, I need to rent a place. So that's
wow.
when
Okay.
I started.
That's how that all began for you then?
Yes.
So 2009, you started your career as a massage therapist.
Correct.
And then you mentioned Sola Salon.
Yes.
So you were doing time. You were doing, you were, You were working inside that system, right?
Correct.
And then what prompted you to go off on your own?
Well, when I was working at the spa, I would always tell my clients like, hey, bring, I don't know, Tiger Balm, because I was a huge fan of Tiger Balm or different other lotions that would help them with pain. And I remember one of my managers was like, don't tell them to bring anything. And because it was a franchise, right? And the lawsuits and everything. So then I was just like, but I don't like the stuff that we sell here. Like, and I don't want to sell it, I just want the client to feel better. So that's when I was like, okay. And then I was in the process of getting my real estate license because everybody here is a realtor because you make extra money, right? So I was in the process of getting my license and I was like, okay, I'm just going to do both and leave the spa. So I stopped working there and started going to my clients' homes.
So when did you have this, what prompted you to start the Massage Studio Eastlake though? So 2019 is kind of the origination date of that. So in between that time of leaving the spa and then starting your own physical practice, I mean, what made that happen?
Well, I was working from literally 6 a.m., 7 a.m. till 10 p.m.
Oh,
back
geez.
to back, working at the spa. Then
is that a massage joke? Back to back? No?
No, but we just made one.
I think that should be.
It.
Yeah. I'm a massage therapist. I see clients back to back. Ew. Sorry. Hey, you know what? If
That's
you like this
one.
joke, please comment below. Thank you, Andy. If you hate this joke, say Mark Johnson stinks.
That's so mean. What was I going to say?
So you were saying sorry. I interrupted with a stupid dad
back
joke.
To back. No,
back to
I
back.
It.
So 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night,
yes.
And you're like, okay.
And I was young, so I was working, and then I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to get a place, and then everything. You know how you have a thought, and then the universe. Where I'm a big believer of the universe. Everything worked in order for me to be like, okay, now this lady that cut my hair at the Ote Ranch, Sola Salons, was like, hey, they're opening one in Target. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go check it out. So I went, I got a room, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to work here. And the days that I'm not here, I'm going to hire someone to be here. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. And then I found a therapist, which she was great. Shuku, she was my first employee. And she was amazing. And then she went to Japan because she was from Japan. So I never heard from her again. She was working with me for a few years.
Oh, wow.
And then the next room next to me, you know how Sola Salons are individual rooms. So the one next to me, there was an esthetician that had to leave. So I was like, I'll take your room. I'll take your rent. Don't worry about it because you need to give 30-day notice and stuff. So I just took it, and then I had both, and I started getting more people in order to, provide more wellness care. So
you basically just did a soft takeover.
Yes.
I'll just take room by room.
I wish. Yeah, well, rent is super expensive here in the area, so it's a good fit. Plus, the area where we are, there's a lot of traffic.
There's a ton of traffic.
Everybody
right there.
knows that area, so it's very convenient.
Well, you have two major anchor tenants. Well, not even two. There's multiple what I'd call anchor tenants. You have Lowe's right there.
And Target.
You have Target. Yeah. You have Starbucks, which is right there. Jamba Juice.
Luna Grill.
Yeah, you have places that are these are people locked into multi-decade leases in some cases. Yeah. There's a lot of traffic
and
right there.
And the chargers, the Tesla chargers. People are sitting in their car and we're like, hey, get a massage.
You know what? I did not think about that. Do you actually get people that come in? They're like, hey, my car's charging.
Yes,
I got 45 minutes or an hour. No way.
Yeah.
That's super smart.
Because we used to do 30 minutes, 1 hour, and 90 minutes. And then and then people would be like, hey, I have a little break. Do you guys have 10 minutes, 15 minutes? And I'm like, I'm just going to get a chair massage and have them come here for that time that they have.
That is so smart.
So
recharge your car, recharge your body.
Yes.
I love that.
I love that one. So yeah.
Have you done any content around that? Now my mind is it's I went to the creative mode real quick. I'm like, hold on a second. There's got to be some sort of cool angle here for some funny real stuff. I don't know. So anyone in the chapter that has a Tesla, actually there's a couple of members that have Teslas. We'll have to do some content, some promo content with you together or something like that.
Yes.
So so Eastlake was the first one, and then was Carmel Valley number 2 or TJ? You said
TJ number 2.
TJ was number 2. What year did that open?
So TJ we opened. Oh, that's a great 7. Last year we celebrated 7 years.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
You do the
yeah.
I'm not good with math.
So basically 2018, right?
Exactly.
But Eastlake was yours in 2019, but you started there earlier though.
Yes.
Okay, got it. I'm okay, got it. I was just missing the fact that it was Sola before and then
just the location,
got it.
That's been there. But in TJ we started. One of my clients, he owns a call center. Well, 2 call centers in Mexico, and he was like, "Hey, can you go massage my employees?" And I'm like, "I'm gonna charge you a lot because it's international." So that's how I started. Hey, why don't you I just hire people and train them, and then they'll go to your offices. She's like, let's do it. So he was the one that gave me the first opportunity, and I went to massage schools in TJ, and I started like recruiting people like, hey, do you want to do chair massage? And they're like, what is that? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you guys don't get taught that? No. So
what do you mean? It's called chair massage.
Yes, they didn't. They didn't know that.
Didn't know what it was.
So I started recruiting, and then I would tell, like, my grandpa has a big house in TJ, so I would be like, hey, can I train people at your house in the big living room? Yeah, of course. So I would call my aunts, like, hey, are you guys available for a training of massage? Of course, everybody was available. Nobody says no to a training. And then, I hired 2 guys and a girl were the first ones. And I trained them, and they started going like every week to his offices. And then they had events, and we started showing up at events, and people were like, what is this? Like, so we were like the first corporate chair massages in Tijuana.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So how did people receive you when you go to do that? Was it kind of like, oh, I don't know, this is kind of weird? They're skeptical a little bit, and then they they warm up to it? Or
exactly.
how was that experience?
A little, like the owners were more used to it because a lot of them lived in San Diego and have their business there. So they're like, oh yeah, massage. But their employees were a little like, oh, I don't like people touching me. Oh, I don't know. And then you would see them like, oh, where do you have a place? Like, where can we go get a full body? Like, really, I need more pressure,
Yeah.
So, and that's when I was like, I need to get a place where people can come. So that's how we started the building where we have Massage Studio TJ.
So we happen to know a lot of people who sit in office spaces a lot, and they're sitting and they're not moving as much as is probably healthy for the body. So what are some of the most common things you were seeing like come up with people who are in these call centers or even in the manufacturing plant and the admin side? What are some of the most common issues you see with their body that someone who might be watching this might be feeling as well, and you're the right solution to come and get that figured out?
Definitely. A lot of office work gets you carpal tunnel, frozen shoulder, tennis elbow, stiff neck stiffness, just because of the repetitive motion and the posture. So we see a lot of tightness on the upper body. That's why the chair massages were a good fit for them, because we mainly focus on shoulders, traps, and scalenes, all of that.
Mm-hmm. So are people super grateful? I mean, you're kind of alluding to that because you're saying, oh, by the way, where do we go for a full massage? What kind of responses do you get from these people?
Because they would get 5-10 minutes of chair massage, so they wanted more, right?
Yeah.
And that's when they were like, oh, do you have a place? Like, they started to take care of their bodies. So my mom had an office in Tijuana where they rented to, I think, Herbalife it was.
Yeah.
So I was like, Mom, I want to open a spa. Can I rent your place? And she's like, yeah. So they kicked him out and they put me there. And the Herbalife people hated me. So yeah. So then I remodeled the whole place, and I remember I sold 2 homes that year, and with that meant.
I'm just laughing because you don't know you're saying this, and all I'm thinking in my mind is like, she's really the soft coo gal. She's like, I'm just going to take over this spot. I'm going to take over that spot. And I'm just going to ask if I can rent this one. I'm going to take it over. Like, shoot, the golf course that we meet at, better be careful. It's to be a massage studio. Like, we meet there on Wednesdays, and like at 8:31, boom, massage studio. Kick that chapter out. We're doing massage here now. We gotta watch out for you, man.
I'm sorry, no.
Jeez.
No,
sorry.
I mean, the lease was almost over too,
Sure. Sure it was. And then you made it over right away. Yeah. Wonderful.
I offered more.
It's like working your way right on out the door. Jeez. So I love this because, I think there's some stereotypes about health and wellness where like everything has to be soft and everything is just peaceful. And yes, there's that element, but there's a business side of the business that you have to have that attitude that you have, which I think is super cool because there's like this blend of like being about it and going after it, and also providing the care that people need in a healthy, comfortable, and I'll say sensitive way, because you don't want to hurt people. You want them to feel better, and you want them to you want their body to be rewarded or cured along the way of having that. And so you have to like have these different I don't say different personalities, but these different modes. So it's like, oh, I got to turn this mode on for this situation. Yeah. I turn that off, and I got to go have this one over here. Yeah, and I can do that one right here. And that's a very unique talent. So good job. I
have multiple personalities.
It's not easy to do.
No, definitely.
It's easy to get stuck in like one track of like mode of things.
Yeah.
But being able to shift in between those, it actually, as I'm experiencing this interview with you, it makes a lot of sense that you have multiple locations and you have so much success because of even just the way you demonstrate that in the short time that we've known you. It makes a lot of sense.
Totally. Thank you.
So tell me about Carmel Valley real quick. So what's the story of that one?
So that one, a lot of my clients that used to live here in Eastlake moved up to Rancho Santa Fe and up north, right? So a few of them, I was going to their homes or trying to take a therapist there. So I was like, you know what? I think it would be a good opportunity. So I was, of course, on Instagram scrolling, and then I see Sola Salons, Carmel Mountain, and I'm like, oh my God. So I click on it and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get a spot there. Cause I Google like, how far is it from Rancho Santa Fe? And I was like, okay, I can do that. So I told my business, because I do real estate part-time. I told my business partner like, hey, guess what? I'm opening Carmel Valley location. She's like, really? Where? Send it to me. So I sent it to her. She's like, that's not Carmel Valley. That's Carmel Mountain. And I was like, what is the difference? It says Carmel. Because I grew up in Mexico. So for me, like, you know, I'm barely like knowing different places. So then I'm like, okay, so I made an Instagram, Carmel Valley, Massage Studio Carmel Valley. And my business partner's like, Angie, that's her name. She's like, no, it's not Carmel Valley. It's Carmel Mountain. And I was like, whatever. She's like, no, really, look at the map. And I was like, fine. So then I look at the map. I'm like, oh, it's like a 25-minute difference. I'm like, thank you for telling me that. So I changed it.
The name is close. The location is not.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, so I opened it a year ago, and we started doing the farmers market at the Rancho Santa Fe there on Sundays, and people started to get to know us, and then people that we have there referred us to their clients. So that's how we've been in the business there.
Wow,
so,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So now, do you have any other takeovers you're planning?
Not at the moment.
No.
I really want to focus on this 3 right now. I did open from October. It was probably 7 months in La Jolla. Well, they sold it to me as La Jolla, but it's actually Morena Boulevard, and it's called Bejo or something.
Yeah, Bejo. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I started playing paddle. And then they had an indoor paddle there, the King of Paddle, which is, I loved it. So they're like, hey, we need a massage therapist. And I'm like, okay, well, it was in the process where I was opening Carmel Mountain. And they're like, well, you want to like, you know, use our office here. There's a space. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So we started doing tournaments and doing chair massages, stretches. But then now they're moving locations to another place. So, I mean, we still collaborate with them at the tournaments. So I really enjoy you know, meeting with them and playing padel also. It's
wow,
like my new
okay.
addiction.
All right. You have a new hobby. Did you say new addiction?
Addiction, yes.
I was going to go with hobby, but okay. Addiction. New
Yes.
addiction unlocked. Not just a hobby. More than just a hobby. So I want to talk more about you know, your backstory, if that's okay.
Yeah, of
you know,
course.
you mentioned you have did you get your psychology degree, you said? And
I did in Tijuana, Mexico.
okay. And so what was the inspiration behind? So I have my psych degree as well.
Oh,
So
really?
I'm just older than I'm a lot older. Yeah.
Now I see. Now I get it.
Now I see what's happening here. No, you don't. No.
I understand now.
No. Yeah. So I got my psychology degree as well. I was fascinated by it in high school. I was like, you know, I'm going to go to college for this. And I've been fascinated with human behavior and just humanity in general. And I think it's part of why I love inviting people here to do interviews. I just like learning about people, and you see different nuances and changes and, you know, behaviors and attitudes and things like that. And I have my own too. So it's always been interesting to me. And so I kind of had gone down that track thinking, oh, maybe I could have a career in this somehow or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then what ended up happening is I ended up getting like in sales roles and roles where there's like relationship is required for the trust to transfer to do whatever the thing is you're selling or offering. And all that kind of out of the textbooks, but applied in like real life. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can apply all these things to actually help people get what they want. And so then it became that way kind of as an entrepreneur and as a business person where I was like, oh, I understand people. I can ask questions that qualify how to help them. And then I can offer the solution in a way that they'll feel amenable to. Yeah. And so that's kind of how I've kind of orchestrated that for my own purposes and to be able to help reach people. So, you know, what was kind of like your origin of getting into psychology and being interested in it to carry it all the way out into college?
Well, I think it was my dad mainly, because in Mexico you do college is like prepa, so it's 3 years. So you get out at like 17, almost 18. And he was like, okay, you should study psychology because it's gonna give you money. And I was like, okay. So I was like, okay, Dad, whatever you say, because I wanted to study like communications and like cinematografia. Like that was my forte, because I would like make movies when I was little with my cousins and play with that. And I wanted to do that, but my dad was like, no, like you have to do something serious, and psychology is the best fit for you. And I'd be like, okay, fine. Like, so I went and studied psychology, and it was a private school. So I was there for 3 years, I think. Yeah, 3 years. And while I was almost at the end, I had 4 months left to graduate. That's when I was like, no, like this is not for me. And I was working at a McDonald's in San Isidro. So I would go to school Monday through Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, I would cross and work right by the trolley station.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
Before we had this physical office, while this building was, before we got on, I told you we moved in this building in 2007.
Office, yeah.
Our office was on Border Village Drive for 2 years, from 2005 to the beginning of 2007 when we moved in this building.
Oh my God.
So
wow.
I've been to that McDonald's. Wah, wah.
So funny. Where did you park? There's no parking. It's like...
Well, on Border Village Drive on the back, there was an office. It was an office building, and it was right next to the KFC.
Okay. Yes,
so
yes I know the KFC.
So
that was my hood.
we had a parking lot right behind there.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
So we actually had parking down there. But I used to drive from Eastlake down to San Isidro every day for almost close to 2 years.
Wow.
From 2005 through just the beginning of 2007.
Oh well, I was at that McDonald's.
Oh great! I probably ordered a
double cheeseburger with pickles, extra pickles.
No, sausage egg McMuffins were big that day with me, and I was big too. Okay, anyways.
Okay, so I was working there on the weekends, and then I was just like, no, like I would always massage my friends, like be like, oh, my hand hurt, and I'm like, give me your hand, and then just massage them. And then one of my coworkers there was like, hey, there's massage therapy at the college, because she was doing criminal justice. So she's like, there's massage therapy. And I was like, what? That's a career? Yeah, you should check it out. And I'm like, well, I don't have, my car doesn't cross. Oh no, that back then I didn't have a car. My mom would pick me up at the border and drop me off. So she's like, I'll take you. And I'm like, really? Yeah, of course. So then she took me, and I went, and I was like, oh, like, how does it work? Or, I've always studied in Mexico, like my whole life. And she's like, no, we'll get you a loan. And I was like, what's a loan? Like, what's an interest rate? Like, what are you, okay, I'm not going to pay for anything. And she's like, no. And I'm like, okay, where do I sign? So then, I went back to my parents, and I'm like, hey, I signed up for massage therapy school. I'm starting in September. And they're like, what? You're crazy. What are you doing? You're almost going to graduate. And I'm like, no, but it's because it's not what I wanted. And I'm sorry, but I'll pay for it. And they're like, yeah, we're definitely not going to pay for it. And we're already paying for this one. And I was like, whatever, it's fine. So I started massage therapy. And I had to ask for more days at McDonald's because I need to, to work and study. So I started working like 4 a.m. till like noon, and then go back to TJ, to take shower and eat and come back to the border, because I live like 3-4 minutes from the border, so it wasn't bad.
4 a.m. to noon?
Yes, to work.
Oh man, that's early.
I know, and we always like sold senior coffees, and like, like it was crowded, but it wasn't that bad.
But I'm just talking about like the dedication though, to be getting up and going from 4 to noon to that, then to go home, shower, change, get cleaned up, and then go back, then go to school. Like that's a great representation of like work. What's the word? Discipline.
Yeah,
like,
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, I think when when you really like something, I think I'm like that. Like if I want something, I'll do it.
You'll get after it. Yeah.
Yes,
You're like, whatever it takes, I'm willing to go do what it takes to make sure that I get that thing. Yeah.
Like it's not a sacrifice. Yeah. It's like more, oh my God, I'm doing this. Like I don't care.
Yeah, that's a very strong work ethic. But that, I mean, where do you think that comes from though? Like, have you just always been that way about something you're interested in? Because you keep saying, oh, passionate about it, or I'm interested in it, or I'm pursuing it. Okay, where's that coming from? Mm-hmm. Is that the same in somewhere like in your family line with your mom or your dad, or even your grandparents?
That's
like,
so funny.
Who demonstrated that same kind of thing?
I think my grandpa from my mom's side, because he was engineer, he had his own business, he was always at his office, and I remember always like talking to him and being like, Grandpa, like, getting advice from him, because even if he was retired, he would still go to his office, even if like he was just there because he wanted to be there and continue with his job that he already had, his money, whatever. But my parents, it's so funny because my parents are like zero. Like I love my parents. Like, they're awesome, but they're more like, no, like I'm lazy. I don't want to do that. But they're good parents, Like,
well, yeah. I'm not assuming that's a representation of something else. I just wondered where that tenacity comes from.
Yeah, I'm gonna say probably from my grandpa from my mom's side.
Yeah.
So
we kind of stopped mid-story, but you're talking about getting up, going from 4 a.m. to noon, and then you go home to change and get cleaned up, and then go to school. So pick up there.
Correct. I would come back, go to school 5:30 to 10:30, and then I didn't know like the transportation, so I would like, buy the ticket at the trolley station, get dropped off on 8th Street, because the school was on H and 3rd by the Foot Ruckers. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, Miss Foot Ruckers. I was just talking to someone else on the show the other day about Fuddruckers with Kurt Bunch. You know the guy living Chula Vista?
Oh yeah, I've heard of him. Yes.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
I was like, man, we need Fuddruckers back. I'm like, hey, you're the guy. You have the biggest megaphone in Chula Vista. Let's get Fuddruckers back. So, anyways, 3rd and H.
Yes.
Go.
So I would I didn't know that the same ticket would take me on a bus to drop me off there. So I would walk from the trolley station to 3rd. Because I didn't know, and I didn't ask. I was like, now I'm learning. So then after, when I was off from school, there was this super nice lady in the class. She was like older than us. We were probably like 20, 21, and she was 30 something. And she would be like, she lived in San Isidro, so there was me and another guy that would come from TJ. So she would be like, no, I'll drop you guys off. So I was like, wow, I think I always had people in my life to help me. So she would drop us off at the border, and then we would walk together. And, because it was, the old border was a little scary, it still is, but, it's like
it's different.
Inframundo.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, so my mom or my dad would pick me up and wait for me at the border as soon as I cross.
Wow.
And then start over the same day, next day for, I think it was like a year that I did that.
Wow.
Till I graduated. So then when I was done with school, and I still party,
Oh my gosh. I was gonna say, hey, so did you just have any free time? The answer is yes, and I partied. Great.
Of course I did.
Yeah, of course I had free time. I was done with school at 10:30. What am I gonna do till 4 a.m. when I go back to work? I'm gonna go party. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
You're wild.
So yeah, and then for a year I couldn't find a job. I would apply to spas and everything. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not getting a job. But in that whole year before, at the end, I was like, I'm just going to go back and finish psychology. So I did. I went back to finish psychology. And 4 months, I finished. And then finally, they called me from this spa in Eastlake. So I was like, I want to go, they try it out. So one of my aunts, she's very I'll take you, my great aunt. So she was like, oh, I'll take you, don't worry. And she just dropped me off. And I'm like, don't worry, I'll just figure out how to get back home. Just leave me there because I have an interview. And then they dropped me off there. And the manager's like, well, we can pay you only $15 an hour. And if you're here any more hours, we won't pay you, just commission. So I was like, okay, where do I sign? I didn't care about the money because I was going to work on something that I wanted to. When I walked out into the massage school and I saw all the tables and the lights there, I was like, when you hear oh.
Yeah. The angelic choir.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, oh my God.
That's what happened. That was the moment?
That was the moment. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
When they hired me, my parents were like, no, they're only going to pay you $15. McDonald's is secure. You already have your hours there. You're not going to, what if you don't have clients? And I always like that they were like that because I'm always like, okay, you say no, I'm going to do it. So
a little bit of the I'll prove you wrong kind of thing.
Exactly.
Not to shove it in your face,
exactly.
But you're no, okay, I see that. I'm gonna go and prove you wrong.
Totally.
The nicest, most loving way possible.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, Mama, you say no, I'm gonna do it then, just because you said no.
That grit. Oh my gosh.
So then, I started working there and I started to get super booked. All the clients wanted to see me. I was fully booked. And then I was getting clients from outside the work and same thing, fully booked. So that's how I started working a lot. And
wow.
Yeah. So
how's it been though? Because you obviously reached a limit and a capacity. Where okay, I can't see everybody, but I need to have other folks, other hands and feet to be the business for me. So how did you transition to that? Because I also know sometimes it's hard for people who are entrepreneurs or they're the owner operator kind of person. You have to transfer your trust to that person to work on your behalf. They have to be good at what they do. They have to treat the customers right. How was your experience in kind of migrating from being the sole person to do that to then allowing other people to do that as an extension of you?
You need to delegate and trust because you need to let go and work for the business, work on the business, not for the business. So I did, I took coaching and I took trainings, and every year I go and get certifications for massage and different stuff health, self-improve and everything. And I feel at the beginning it was very hard because I feel I'm very a perfectionist on what I do. So having somebody else to do it for me, it was I was all on top of everything. Okay, let's see what you're doing, the little things. And then little by little, trusting people is very important. When you trust them, like not just give them everything, all your trust, but trust them to a point where they know they can handle the situation, but at the same time, you're in charge.
Well, it's kind of like a proving ground, right? Like you having your certifications, one thing to be my employee. The next thing is, will you do a good job? Will people appreciate the work you do?
Yes.
And is this a good reflection on the business that we're running? Because that's the on part is, kind of assessing, but also trusting as you're assessing along the way. Correct. And that can be a struggle for some people.
Yeah, a lot of people they're still working themselves, and I'm like always telling them, dude, get people, train them, like that's gonna help you. And they're like, no, it's because they're flake and blah blah blah. But you have to trust and believe in the people. That's
So do you have people that come to you for coaching now, or for advice and counsel? As someone who's opened up multiple locations, are you seen as someone who others are coming to now in maybe the infancy of their career, or maybe they're in the first couple of years and they're looking to grow like you have?
Yeah, well, I have one of my clients. She opened a spa in Mexico. At her dad has a hotel. So she called me and she's like, I want you to train me. How did you do it? And I want you to train my employees. And I was like, okay, I'm going to charge you a lot because it's international again. She's like, it's okay. Perfect. And I've done a lot of trainings with my employees, and what else? And I always get a massage. The interview that for people to work for me, they always give me a massage. I'm like, do the best you can.
What a perk.
You'll be surprised.
You're interviewing for a job? I'm just going to lay on this table. Let's see. This is your interview.
No, you'll be surprised. Like, I've had oh my God, I had to stop some sessions.
Oh, no way. Really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
okay.
it's
I was all joking about it over here. Like, no, really, some people are terrible.
If it's a good massage, I'll be like, okay, you have potential. You can stay. Let's train you, right? But I had the situation one time I do feel energies a lot too,
Sure.
like the vibe of the therapist was a little different. And I remember that, I was just like, just massage my feet. He's like, we're not doing a full body. I'm like, no, it's okay.
Pass. Hard pass, bro.
Yes, I know. But poor thing.
Well, no, maybe it was the right decision.
Probably, yes. So, yeah, everybody that I've trained, I mean, I've heard a lot of feedback from my clients, like people that they don't know me and they went to get a massage with my team. They're like, I always text them like, hey, how was your massage? Tell me everything. Like, give me your feedback. I do follow up with them. So they'll be like, oh my God, it was great. Or I didn't like this little thing, but I like this. So little things. And I'm like, okay. And I talk to my therapist, hey, this person came in and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, I'll do better. Okay, I'll fix that. Or thank you so much for the good feedback. So
that's amazing. Yeah. And I think sometimes, this is probably an overgeneralization, but I think that we understand as business people, we understand the idea of listening and getting that feedback, but then we're maybe less likely or we're less frequent to really do it. It's like, I understand the concept, but I'm so busy, I just don't have time to actually do the listening part. Yeah. But it really does tell you a lot, doesn't it?
Definitely. It changed everything.
So what are some of the things that you've really kind of learned from the beginning of starting your own place and to now? Like, what are some of the core things you think you've learned in business that they're just true because they're true and they'll be true forever?
Well, if you're passionate about something, everything works out to follow where you want to go, or where you have to have a plan. Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years and how can you get there? But I think if you write it down, it's more real. And then every day that you wake, I like to meditate when I wake up. I be grateful that, I'm here and I'm complete and then I have a roof, I have food and I have friends and love. And I love that, that's my main in the mornings. And then after that, you're like, okay, what's my plan? Where do I want to be? What am I doing with this? Put your eggs in different baskets, not just okay, I have a massage business, but I also have the real estate, but I also have a drinks cart for parties.
You do?
Yeah. But I haven't really put a lot of attention on it, and I need to work on it too. I'll just find a few hours in the day. We have 24 hours, right?
Yeah, apparently. If you're squeezing in partying between going to work from 4 a.m. to noon and then going from school to 5 to 10:30, apparently there's more hours in the day than I knew of. So you have a drink cart too?
Yes. So my business partner, her family owns a vineyard in Valle de Guadalupe. So she started making Negronis or Aperols and the wine. So we started being at the Padel. That's where we had our first events, and then just selling drinks and private parties and stuff.
Wow, that's cool.
So, yeah, that's the third business I have.
So talk to me a little bit more about you growing up and stuff. Because asking you a little bit more about how your schooling went and all that. But what was life for you growing up? Do you have a lot of siblings? Are you only child? Mm-hmm. What was being a kid like?
Well, I have my sister. She's 3 years younger than me. And then my cousins that we grew up like sisters, we would see each other all the time. Every Saturday we would meet at my grandpa's house and we would eat chicken. That was like every Saturday, chicken, roasted chicken from El Pollo Feliz. Sometimes carnitas, but I don't know. We just love chicken with honey.
Oh, with honey. Okay.
Yes. In a tortilla with salsa and lime.
Oh, yeah. No, that sounds amazing. I want that right now. Let's go to your grandpa's house right now.
Right now.
Sounds great.
Yeah, so it was like very, very close to my mom's side of the family because my dad was an only child. So it was mainly my mom's side of the family. And then, I went to a private Catholic school. So I grew up very like, oh, that's a sin. Or you said a lie, go pray. Or Saturday mornings we would go to catecismo. Like, what's it called?
The catechism.
Catechism, yes. So we would go that on Saturday. Sunday we would go to mass. And I don't know, like it was just like very, very, family orientated. But at the same time, my parents, I feel like they were always like on their own thing. Like my mom likes the casino a lot. So she gambles and my whole family from her side. I turned 18. It was like, oh, we're going to take you to Viejas. I'm like, it's my birthday.
Yeah. I don't want to go there.
But I did like the casino for a few years. Like because it was like, oh, my family gambles. So let's gamble. And I know all the casinos here. So I don't know Carmel Mountain from Carmel Valley, but I know Pachangas and...
I know all the casinos, and all the casinos know me.
Exactly. But then, probably like 8 years ago, one day I was like, I don't want to be wasting my money on a machine, a slot machine. So I stopped gambling, and I can go and I'll have fun with them. We'll go to Vegas, but I won't gamble anymore. Like maybe max $20 because I was just like, it's not my thing. But then my sister, she's 3 years younger than me, and she owns a Montessori school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she loves kids. And I mean, I can tolerate kids. I'm like the type of person that doesn't know how to talk to kids. Have you seen that TikTok where the lady's like talking to the kid like,
no, you're going to have to send it to me.
Okay, I have to send it to you.
Is it like super awkward? Is
It's
that the point? Yeah, she can't do it.
I don't know conversations like, oh, so you hate school?
Yeah, so you like coloring?
Yes.
Do you know how to add?
Exactly. And my niece and nephews, I love them. They love me. We have a great time. But yeah, it's like, I'm always with adults. Like that's my world.
Yeah. I'll be your fun aunt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm the fun aunt. Like sometimes I have a friend that like, oh, let's play tennis. Oh, but I have my kids. I'm like, okay, I'll see you another day.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? All of a sudden I'm busy on what you just said regarding your kids.
But it's not. I mean, I do like them. They're funny, But it's weird for me to.
Yeah,
I'm always with adults.
Yeah,
so
I understand.
It's interesting.
So what's a fond memory you have of like being a kid and growing up? What's something you think about that you think about and you have like just a really good feeling about that you like remembering?
I remember that I would like ride my bicycle all the time on my street because I live in this like long street, right? And then there was a bump here and a bump there, and my dad would be like, okay, make sure you don't pass the bump, and I'd be like. And I passed it a little bit, and I'd be like, I passed it a bump.
I don't think I'm surprised based on what I'm learning in this conversation that you're like, I'm going to go past that bump just a little bit, and then I'm going to come back into the little boundary.
Exactly. So, yeah. So, riding my bicycle, and I took piano lessons for like 5 years. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, I think that my dad would always have me on a schedule. Like I would finish school and then I stayed to play basketball and then I had my piano lesson and then I have swimming lessons. So I'm like that. I really appreciate he had me doing all the stuff. He would always tell me, you're doing everything that I wanted to do. That's why you have to take the piano lessons. I'm like, but I don't like piano anymore. Well, I didn't get a chance to take piano because he played guitar. Mm-hmm. So he'd be like, but you take piano. And I'll be like, okay, fine. Which it helped me because I feel with that structure, that's how my life is. I'm always on schedule, on appointments. And my therapist sometimes says like, what if you don't have an appointment? And I'm like, I don't know. I'd just be like, okay, I'll just sit here.
I have a music psychology question for you. Ready?
Okay, what?
White keys, black keys, or both?
What?
White keys, black keys, or both?
I don't know. Like,
you played piano for 5 years, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you got the white keys, like all your majors. You got the
like
black keys, all your
like
minors.
More?
Yeah, what do you like more? A mix of those?
I think
or the minors, like super dramatic and...
Probably both.
Both? Okay.
Yeah.
I figured you were saying both. Yeah.
Why?
Because you get to play the full spectrum. That's why. Ha-ha.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because you don't have a preference of one or the other. It's a mix of them both.
Yes, like Elisa, for Elisa, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, That's it.
Well, the reason I asked
ADHD.
is if you've played music before, specifically piano, and people understand like majors and minors and all that, then you can ask them like, hey, what do you have a preference for? And it tells you something about them, or at least in my experience. I've actually never asked anybody else on our chapter on the show this question because piano really hasn't come up. But I was like, psychology, business, piano. I'm asking.
What do you like to? Which one?
Both. But so my music background is drumming. So I played drums since I was 14 years old.
Okay.
But I also like tinker on the piano. Like I can play a little bit, but like I can't really play sheet music and read and that kind of thing. But there's certain notes and chord structures and patterns and volumes and dynamics that create emotion and create a response, right?
Yes.
And so I really like very like cinematic, but like cinematic with like drums and like some mix of like wind instruments, symphony, strings, and like electric. So one of my favorite producers is a guy named Tommy Profit, and he produces for all sorts of commercials and video games and all these other like musicians and rappers and stuff. But it's all just really big, massive choir, symphony, drums with a nice beat path, and but the piano is the focus because he's a pianist.
Okay.
So the piano is like the main thing, but it's got all this nice surrounding stuff that makes this like full-bodied experience, which I love. Kind of like a massage.
Oh, there you go.
Ayo.
It's all connected. Yeah, you're right.
So full keys, all keys, anytime. I like that because you get to use everything, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I like that. I figured that would be the answer.
You need both.
Yeah.
You know, because to make the perfect melody.
Yeah. Hey. So who would you say is someone who's like really inspired you along this journey of education, tenacity, getting into business, even in the wellness journey and being fascinated by that? Like when you think about the people who have made like a mark on your life along the way, who are some of those people?
Well, I'm going to say my grandpa, Conrado Diaz. He was like the major one because I remember I spend the night with my grandparents a lot. I love spending the night at their house. And he would wake up early, do his workout, shower with cold water. He had a routine. Like, it was always the same. He'd come home and eat at the same time. And then he would watch his soccer or baseball and then had his little wine with some peanuts, his cigarettes, of course. And like
with the cigarettes,
with
yes.
the cigarette, of course, the smell of cigarette from your grandparent, like
yes.
that's like awesome. And it was just like I always admire, like he was just very, he had a routine and discipline. So I guess I got it from him.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. My wife, her grandfather had like a pipe cabinet, and she would recall one of her memories, or distinct memories as a child, was whenever they go to the house, it would have that specific pipe tobacco smell, and she's like, I just like this because the smell caused a memory that's like just innate, is like built in her now. So whenever we're like around someone who happens to have a pipe or just pipe smoke, she's like, oh my gosh, my childhood.
Yeah.
So in those things, and there's interesting psychology behind all that too, right?
Totally.
Your body and your mind remembered those things that have created these core memories that they're instantly there. It's like that instant recall because it's just so it's just been so embodied by your I'd say your soul, really.
Totally. Yes.
So your grandfather has been a massive influence.
Main one, yes.
And you've mentioned a lot of people that have helped you along the way too.
Definitely.
I mean that have dropped you off, pick you up, encourage you, or maybe give you a little bit of a resistance that you're going to press against. Like, no, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Yeah, no. And then one day, my dad passed away 2 years ago, and before he passed, he was like,
no.
I just want to tell you that I'm so proud of you. And I was like, oh my God, like I really appreciate you saying that, because you always, I guess what you do, you want to make sure like your parents are happy with what you do. So I felt like that was amazing that he opened up.
Was that uncommon for him?
Yeah, a little bit for both of my parents. Yeah, like they're not very. Now they are, but when I was little, they weren't very affectionate. Even my mom, like I would hug her and she'd be like, "Oh my God, go over there." But that's how she was raised, And I already went to therapy and did therapy. But now we have a great relationship. She's awesome. She's like always like, "Hey, how are you doing?" Sending me like the pictures with the "Have a great day. You're my best daughter." And I'm like, "Are you sure? Are you sure you're not sending this to my sister too?"
Copy all.
Like forward. This message has been forwarded so many times. I love you from your mom.
50 people in the CC box. You're my favorite. Hey, hold on. There's 50 of us on this message. But your dad, that moment sounds like it was very special for you.
Yeah, and I admire him too because he was raised like his dad worked for the government and they had like a lot of properties, and my grandma was like, mom for him, like she didn't work, and then he died when my dad was 2. So my grandma didn't work. She just started selling the properties they had or renting houses that they had. So my dad grew up like partying and like being cool, and like he was like everybody loved him, but he didn't really like, he was studying at Southwestern something architecture or something, but he didn't finish it, and then he got married, and that's when I was born. And my mom was like, well, you need to be an adult now. He got married at 33. And my mom was like, you need to work. And my dad's like, what is that? Because he has his karate studio. He did karate. And then he had his band. He liked to play music. And finally, he got a job with my uncle that he owns. They sell garage doors and for businesses and for houses. The metal things.
Yeah, the roll-up doors?
Yes, those ones. Mm-hmm. In Mexico, we have a lot because of crime.
Yeah.
Here, I don't think I've seen one.
Yeah, they're usually they're on the backside of this building over here.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah,
okay.
there's roll-up doors over here.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So they sell that. So my dad started working with them, but every time he would have we're playing at this party or we have this event, he would at night go and play and perform. And when finally he retired, he started doing it more, and he started teaching kids guitar lessons because that was his passion. He always wanted to do guitar, and he pursued it. Even though he had both jobs, but he did. So I really admire that from him too.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool, and I'm happy that you. I mean, you didn't even have to share it, but I'm glad you shared that moment. Right before he passed away. I didn't know he passed away, so I'm sorry to hear that.
No, thank you.
Yeah. What is it that's something that you nowadays that you find really gratifying about your work? Like what do you feel very rewarded by?
To be honest with you, when I have people that are like super in pain and they're like, I can't move, I can't lift my arm, and then we worked on them, or they send me a text like, Alex, that massage was great, or your therapist did a great job, I feel so much better. I will like, oh my God, like we're doing something right. Because I really want to help people. Like that's the purpose of the business, medical massage, not just going into and get oil all over your body. It's like really focusing on the issue that you have, because it changes your life. Like imagine having a pain all day and like on your neck that you can't turn, and you need your limited mobility. How are you going to be like your your behavior? Like you're going to be in a bad mood, right? You're going to be mad at anybody because you don't feel good.
Yeah, something you can be short-tempered a little bit, a little chippy or a little edgy.
Exactly. Yeah. But if you're feeling good with yourself, and working on yourself, investing in your wellness, then everything changed.
So it's really, really you knowing that what you're doing is making a positive impact and it's done with purpose.
Correct.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
What are you envisioning for like the future for your current studios and for the business where it's at now? Do you have a bigger vision that maybe you haven't shared with everyone yet, that you're kind of, I'm not asking you to share any secrets, but like where are we going? Where's Massage Studio Eastlake going to go?
Well, eventually I would love to have a bigger place and have more rooms and be able to help more people, because sometimes like we get fully booked, especially like on the weekends, and I only have 2 studios right now. So it's definitely in my plans to move to a bigger spot. But right now we're still here, and if an opportunity comes, I'll definitely get a look into it.
Yeah. So scale is the future, right?
Correct.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Is there anything that you don't have in your business right now that you would benefit from? Like people either in our chapter or people that are watching, like something you're like, oh, I need this or I need that, or I'm trying to accomplish this and I'm not really sorted it out yet?
Well, I've been trying to find a connection with the VA, like somebody in the VA department with or the insurance
for TRICARE.
For a medical massage, yeah, because it's covered by your insurance. You can pay with your FSA card or HSA card. So I'm just trying to like become a vendor, like listed in their be listed on their vendor. I mean, be a vendor on their list.
Yeah.
So they can refer us more clients.
I have 2 people I'll introduce you to that
Awesome.
might be able to help you. One person who's a former member of our chapter, Dr. Joe.
Okay.
Joe Snyder. He's got a chiropractic office here. He is on the VA list, I believe.
Okay.
And then right down the street here, there's a guy. He a Tribe Cold Plunge. over here. So I'll introduce him. He actually is a patient of Dr. Joe.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'll introduce him too because he's a veteran and
Okay.
he has cold plunge, and I think somehow he made it on the list or he's still working on it.
Great,
So
'cause I've
that
been
came up in a conversation recently.
Great. I've been sending, emails and the forms and everything they need, but it just like still, like, oh, send now this, send now that. That's how it works, I guess.
Yeah, there's a process, but if there's already someone who maybe can be an advocate for you,
be
let's
great.
see about maybe talking to one of those guys about that. So
Awesome.
that might be useful.
Thank you.
So I have a couple. Are you good on time? I have a couple last questions.
Yeah,
Is that
I'm-
okay?
I'm
All
good.
right. What time is it? Wow.
wow.
We've already been.
I've talked so much.
Almost an hour. No, this is the point of it. This is for everyone to be able to feature themselves and answer some questions and talk and really enjoy their time. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
So if I were to hand you a microphone and you're standing in front of an audience of 100,000 people in a massive arena or an auditorium, and you got to thank one person and tell them why you want to thank them, who would it be?
Híjole, that's a good one.
I know there's probably a lot of people because you've already mentioned a number of people.
There is a lot of people.
And it's okay that they all know that you love them. But if you could say thanks to one person, who would it be?
That's a hard one because there's a lot of people, I swear. Can I say 2 people?
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, probably my grandpa's a big one and my dad, definitely. Yeah.
What would you want to tell them?
That I appreciate all their love and support and for believing in me always, because having somebody that's listening to you and that you admire and they like recognize you too, it's very like self-rewarding.
Do you feel like you're carrying a torch of their legacy?
Probably. Maybe.
You're not saying it, but you kind of sound like you are.
Yeah, probably I am. Maybe. I don't know. Because I mean, in my family, I have another cousin that I look up to her a lot because she's opened like 9 restaurants now in Tijuana and she keeps growing and she's like, like living her best life because she's worked so hard and she's just like she won like a leadership for women in Mexico and I'm like, oh wow, like one day I hope I get a little close to her.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool. I bet with 9 restaurants, that food must be very good. So
Totally.
So if you could have a meal with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Híjole. Hi, Andy. What is going on with you? It's not
I mean,
a
I don't know. I mean, you've watched every episode we've done,
Yeah,
so
I have.
I ask everyone. I ask everyone this question. It's curiosity. So Ray Estelano gifted me 2 books recently, and I read it. So do you know who Larry King is?
No, who's Larry King?
Larry King is he's a much older man who is a wonderful interviewer. Most people would call him one of the best interviewers ever. And I read these books by him, and one of his famous questions to everyone is, dead or alive, who would you want to spend time with or share a meal with? And I was like, you know what, I'm going to take that question because I think it's fascinating. You sometimes get a mix of people who say someone who's still alive, and it's a family member or a friend or someone who's been influential to them.
Okay.
And then other times, you ask somebody and it's like a famous person or a celebrity or something, or a famous historical person
Okay.
that you'd want to ask, well, why did you do this? Or what was going on in that time that we didn't know about that now we do? And
Yeah.
so
I want to ask
so that's
Mexican
why.
president, why did you just sell part of Mexico? I'm just kidding.
Why'd you? Yeah. Hey, why'd you sell that off for $40? Look at us now. So yeah, dead or alive, who would you want to have a meal with or be able to have a conversation with and ask questions to?
Probably my dad. Or I'm sorry, my dad's dad. Sorry, my because we never got to meet him. I have no idea for his side of the family. So I would like to see where he came from. How did he get to work where he was? And yeah,
What do you know about them?
not a lot. Like my grandma was from my dad's side. She was from Monterrey, and he was from Mexico City. And they came to Tijuana, and he was working for the government. And I just so when my dad passed, I got his Rolex from his dad. So I have it there, and I still need to fix it because it doesn't have the glass.
Oh wow!
So my mom was like, "Why don't you just sell it? Like you should enjoy the money from it." And I'm like, "I don't want to sell it. Like I kind of want to fix it and wear it." So the other day, it's so funny. I put it on my wrist, and I felt like ooh, like the power of the legacy.
The power of the legacy Rolex. Wow. So it just needs the glass fix, right?
Yes.
Okay.
yes.
Hey, somebody who's got a watch repair or
Right.
jewelry repair connection. We have a
Trustworthy.
Rolex that needs to be fixed. No, I said we. Sorry, we do not.
We do.
Alex
We're
has a
team now.
Rolex. I don't think so. I think that sounds like it's very much your Rolex, not mine. It's funny you bring up. So it's funny you bring up the watch. I actually wore this watch today. This is a watch my wife got me back in 2002. So I've had this for 23 years, and I usually wear like my iWatch. I was like, no, I'm gonna wear this one today because I don't wear it a lot, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna wear it today. It's been a long time since I wore it, and it's funny that you mentioned the watch thing because it's important to me. I'll never get rid of this. It's gonna go to my kids or whoever, but it's simple, but it was a gift. So that's,
and it has a meaning, right?
Oh, 100%.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you shouldn't be like, putting feelings into material stuff, but it's, like. But
it does carry sentiment.
Yes.
Like, and the other thing is like, I'm not a watch collector. This is my only watch outside of the one that goes on the charging station at night,
exactly.
Right? Because even that, I really just look for time and steps and exercise and things like that. But this is the only watch I have, and it's the only one I want. Like, I don't look at watches. I'm not like coveting them. I don't really care.
It's gonna give you the same time as this one, so
yeah. I can appreciate watches and all their beauty and the engineering and all that, but I just it carries sentiment, and that's why. So that's interesting that you mentioned that. That's cool.
It's crazy, and that you're wearing it today.
Yeah,
after 20 years.
Yeah, I wear it very infrequently. I mean, it's very rare. I've probably only worn it like twice this year.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm gonna wear it today.
Your wife's gonna see that.
Yeah. Hey, Jen, look, I wore your watch today. So, is there anything I didn't ask you that I should have asked you that I didn't think of?
You asked me everything, I think.
No, I don't know. I feel like there's so much more. You're gonna have to come back and do another show. Would you do that?
Yeah, I would definitely love that. That'd be great. Thank you.
I also, because I have you on camera, I really think you'd be a great host.
Yeah.
I think so. If you guys weren't paying attention, I don't know how you would have missed this, but Alex and Ricky dominated the visitors check-in table at Visitors Day this year. They were so awesome. You guys took a warm handoff from all the guys up front. You had the dudes outside. Did you see who it was outside?
No, who?
Hey, I love you guys. You guys are the best. Yeah, like Michael Keith outside, welcoming people. Frank. We had Ray Bitar.
Oh yeah, Ray Bitar. I took a picture of him.
Ramses out there, and I'm like, oh man, we got these like confident, cool, calm, collected knuckleheads who are also really good at what they do, welcoming all our guests and like putting on a very good face and welcoming. It was so awesome. And then they get to you and Ricky, and then they're just like doused with love and open arms, and that was just so awesome. And so you did great.
I just thank you so much. I just started, and I felt like like it was my thing, like,
and what's
my
funny?
Event, or I don't know.
Because I was like, so I'm like cruising through the room, I'm making sure everything's cool, and I was taking some background footage to make our little like follow-up reel, whatever. And I saw like you and Ricky at the check-in table. I'm like, you guys are two of our newest members, and I'm like, this is perfect. That's exactly who we need right here for this moment. So thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And that's why I'm saying I think you could host this show next time with another member of your choosing. So you're gonna have to pick someone in the chapter to come and do this with, but you'll take this seat, and they'll sit there.
Are you delegating?
Yeah, I'm absolutely delegating. This is our show. The only reason I'm here right now is because this is our first time. Okay. So I've done an interview with everybody else. Only a couple people still I got to do interviews with. We got Guy Studer. Got to get Chantel in here. Okay. But everyone else I've pretty much had come through. And then I want to turn this over to everyone else in the chapter. So Miguel's come in already and done one. We had Irune and Michael. They did their own little show. Yeah, nice. And if you didn't know this, Irune made the thumbnail. So the little Simpsons characters, that's like the Simpson character of Irune and the Simpson character of Michael Keith. She made that and sent it to me, and so I used it on the thumbnail. So I didn't make that thumbnail. They had made it.
That's so cute.
It was all AI. So
I love AI.
So yeah, I am bait and hooking you into coming to be a host on this show, and you can bring someone else from the chapter for you guys to have your own conversation. How about that?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I really enjoyed our conversation, and we will have to do this again. If you'd like to network with Alex and myself, you can find us every Wednesday down at the Chula Vista Golf Course in Bonita. That's 4475 Bonita Road. That's right, the Chula Vista Golf Course in Bonita. You can click on the link in the description box below on YouTube to register yourself as a visitor for one of our upcoming meetings. We look forward to seeing you. And if you want to connect with Alex on social media, you can find her handles in the description box below, and to book a massage, you'll find her contact information below to get yourself or your loved one in for a therapeutic or medical massage at one of her studios. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again with another great guest next week. Bye.